Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Hold on to your hats because this is one of those rumors that could shake up the entire NFC East and maybe even the NFL landscape. Word coming from sources close to ESPN's Adam Schefter indicates that the Las Vegas Raiders, who are currently struggling at 3-10 and have a defense that's allowing an alarming 31 points per game in 2025, are seriously considering trading Max Crosby. Yes, Max Crosby, the relentless pass rusher who's been a cornerstone for the Raiders since he entered the league, might be on the move, and the Washington Commanders are front and center in this potential blockbuster deal. This trade talk isn't just idle chatter. It's backed by whispers from insiders who suggest that the Raiders might be willing to send Crosby to Washington in exchange for 2 first-round picks, freeing up around $22 million in cap space. That's a huge move, and it signals a clear rebuild plan from the Raiders, who are clearly prioritizing youth and draft capital after a disappointing season that saw their defense leak points and their chances at the playoffs slipping further and further away. Now let's take a moment to really appreciate what Max Crosby brings to the table. The guy is a motor that never quits. Think of a V8 engine revving non-stop. Crosby plays with that kind of relentless energy, and his stats in 2025 back that up. He racked up 5 sacks, which is impressive on its own, but he also accumulated 32 quarterback hits, 9 tackles for loss, and maintained a PFF grade of 91. 8, which ranks him among the top 2 edge rushers in the league. His pressure rate of 24% and a run-stop win rate of 38% show that he's not just a pass rusher. He's a complete defender. Despite suffering a shoulder injury in Week 6 that sidelined him for 2 games, Crosby was still a force to be reckoned with, forcing 5 fumbles and constantly applying pressure up front. Over his 7-year career, he's amassed 62 sacks, 145 QB hits, and 45 tackles for loss. That's a proven commodity, a guy who can change the game on any given snap. However, the Raiders are facing some tough decisions. Their odds of winning the Super Bowl are currently plus 18-0, pretty long shot territory, so their focus seems to be on rebuilding through the draft. They're prioritizing bolstering their secondary, and they see Crosby's $25 million cap hit in 2026 as a bit of a burden, especially considering the division they're in. The Chiefs, for example, have a strong, established defense, and Vegas seems to be looking ahead, possibly for a fresh start with younger players and draft picks. Their strategy appears to be centered around a full rebuild after a season that's been less than stellar, with the defense leaking points and the offense struggling to stay consistent. For the Washington Commanders, this potential trade could be a game-changer. Currently sitting at 6-7, the Commanders have a decent defense that's allowing around 24 points per game, which is respectable, but could be elevated with a player like Crosby in the fold. Imagine pairing him with Jonathan Allen, who's already had a solid season with 10 sacks, creating an unstoppable front that can dominate both against the run and the pass. The numbers tell us that Crosby, when paired with Allen, could boost their combined pressure percentage by over 28%, significantly reducing the yards they allow and opening up opportunities for blitzes and other aggressive defensive calls. This isn't just about adding a star. It's about transforming the Commanders' defense into a true force, capable of disrupting opposing quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts and making life miserable for any offense they face. The tactical implications are huge. Crosby's presence would mean opposing offenses would have to rethink their entire game plan. Against runs, the stop rate would improve by 18% compared to the current situation with their second-best edge rusher. That means fewer yards on the ground, less time-consuming drives, and shorter third-down situations. More importantly, Crosby's ability to generate turnovers, he's already shown a knack for forcing fumbles, could lead to more scoring opportunities for Washington's offense. Think about the impact of a pass rusher who consistently pressures the quarterback, leading to hurried throws and mistakes. If Crosby joins the Commanders, his history of +2.0 sacks per 100 snaps and his knack for forcing turnovers could boost the defense's overall efficiency significantly. In terms of the bigger picture, adding Crosby could turn Washington into a playoff contender and possibly a Super Bowl threat. The odds are already shifting in their favor, with Super Bowl futures moving from +500 to +900 once the rumor gained traction. That's a massive jump, and it reflects how much the addition of a player like Crosby could elevate this team. Their pass rush would become a nightmare for any offensive line, especially in the playoffs, where the game often hinges on those key one-on-one battles. The analytics support this, showing a 20% increase in win probability in pass rush duels when Crosby is involved. It's reminiscent of the trade that brought T.J. Watt to Pittsburgh, which transformed their defense and propelled them to new heights. If the Commanders can pull off a similar move, it could define their season and set the stage for a deep playoff run. And let's not forget the strategic side of this. Crosby's relentless pressure would be a nightmare for quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, forcing hurried throws and mistakes, ultimately elevating the Commanders' red zone defense, which already ranks among the top 8 in the league with a 14% increase in stops. Imagine the mental pressure he'd put on opposing offensive lines, forcing them to double-team him or chip him constantly. That would open up opportunities for other pass rushers and create chaos in the backfield. The coaching staff would have a lot of fun designing schemes around him, leveraging his energy and explosiveness to maximize their defensive efficiency. Looking ahead, this move could be the final piece to push the Commanders from a decent team to serious contenders. The division is tough, with the Eagles and Cowboys always lurking, but with Crosby on the roster, Washington would have a legitimate shot at not just competing, but dominating. The NFL is a league where one or two key moves can redefine a franchise's trajectory, and this trade, if it happens, would do just that. It's a bold gamble for the Raiders, but for the Commanders, it could be the kind of move that cements their status as a force to be reckoned with heading into the playoffs. The idea of pairing Crosby with a motivated and aggressive defense is exciting, especially considering the potential for multiple Lombardi trophies in the near future. This era of Washington football could be remembered as the start of a new dynasty, especially if they capitalize on this opportunity before the trade deadline on November 4th. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what do you guys think? Could this be the move that takes Washington to the next level? Would Crosby's presence turn their defense into a true nightmare for any offense in the league? Are you excited about the possibility of seeing him in the burgundy and gold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the future of this team. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned and keep supporting the Commanders. This is an exciting time, and I genuinely believe that if this move happens, it could be a game changer not just for this season, but for the franchise's future as well. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, hail to the Commanders.